My name is Sean Dean, Business Development Manager at Top Worldwide, and welcome to a new series of occasional interviews that we will be hosting together with and on behalf of TIC 4.0 Association. For many years now, digitalisation and therefore innovation has been moving forward at a great pace within the port and terminal sector, and therefore within the wider supply chain. The formation of the Terminal Industry Committee 4.0 has directly addressed the challenges facing the sector, with a primary focus of developing a standardised language to be used by all the actors when approaching the subject of the digital transfer of technical data, which therefore drives innovation. As these conversations evolve and develop, it is important for the industry to now start to be accepting and implementing these standards into their future business plans, and that is something which is now starting to happen. So this series plans to talk to major C-level decision makers from the port, terminal and related manufacturers and technology providers to understand how they intend to implement these standards and to drive innovation within their respective business plans. So with this in mind, I will now hand over to Norbert Kleppner, who is Vice President of TIC 4.0. He will give you a more robust summary on the mission of TIC 4.0 and their plans. After that, we will then hear from Mr. Mika Viivalainen, CEO, Cargotec Corporation, who will be in discussion with our long-time industry expert, Professor Holger Schut. So for now, over to you, Norbert. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, for the introduction, and thank you very much for TOC hosting this on behalf of TIC. And welcome everybody to the series of We Talk TIC, interview series of C-levels in our industry. Welcome and special thanks to Mika Viivalainen, CEO of Cargotec, and Professor Holger Schut, our industry expert conducting this interview. We in TIC, with our members, we focused on, as Sean said, developing standards, but it's not our main purpose to only develop standards and broadcast them. We want to drive innovation by standards, because we think like standardization is one of the cornerstones to enable our industry to have more digitization, more automation, and do the implementation easier, quicker, and faster. So our drive for this series is we want to look how our standards help our members and our industry to drive innovation in their respective business part, in their industry, in their manufacturing part, and see how we can help our members, but also the whole industry with standardization on innovation. And now I would hand over to Holger and Mika for the further interview. Thank you very much.
Yes, dear Mika, thank you very much for starting with us this series of interviews, We Talk TIC.
Thank you for having me, Holger.
After Norbert's overview about TIC 4.0, and I think Cargotec is well known in the industry, let's talk about how this may work together, or how this works together already. It's not a may. What do you think? How does the current technology either requests for standards or actually supports standards in our industry?
It's a great question, Holger, and I think before even answering that one, I think it's important to talk about that. Why are we doing these things? And I think the drive for efficiency, of course, has been in our industry for a long time. The drive for safety, and safety is still a major issue for us in the port industry. But increasingly, the role of the sustainability and our capability to move and deliver goods for the consumers across the world in the most sustainable and eco-friendly way is becoming bigger and bigger driver. And there, when we talk about the technology overall, if you think about really what the technology in question is, it's really software. And when you talk about software overall, the importance of the scale and interoperability is even more critical than it is generally in port technology. With all due respect to the hardware innovation and what we have done as such, actually tuning that to the different solutions is not a huge job. But when we talk about the software development and the case of repeatability and standardization and interoperability, the value of that one is actually a huge driver for the industry.
Okay, the main thing so is this interoperativity. Um, how does how is innovation currently driven in your company, so within Cargotec?
I think it's twofold. Of course, the most important source for innovation and development is our customers, the port operators and the shipping companies. And there, of course, you try to stay close to the customers. You need to listen to the customers and work together to innovate as well. Having said that one, I think there are certain areas where a more central sort of innovation, and we also invest heavily into sort of more centralized development in certain key areas which are more around the corner. Cargotec has more than doubled its R&D in the last 7 years in terms of innovating and driving for around robotics and automation, which of course are important, but overall software functionality and capability to connect the industry better.
Yeah, and here I think again standards are coming in, as you mentioned before, especially for automation and for this, robots, like you call them, like AGVs, ASCs, and so on. And what do you think maybe the next steps of innovation, not only in your company, but also in the whole container industry? What are Cargotec's visions for this industry?
I think personally, I've been now in this business for a while, but I came from outside, and my background is actually in telecommunication, and I also was in the airline industry for a while.
Yes.
It's actually helpful in a sense as well, but then you look at the outside in on the container handling industry, and what strikes me first of all is the lack of standards. We tend to do a lot of software development and innovation on the specific cases. And if you compare that, for example, to the airline, not to mention the telecommunication industry, where in telecommunication industry, the standards and interoperability, for example, in mobile phone was absolutely key ingredient for that industry to start to fly. And today, of course, nobody uses fixed telephony anymore. And, most of the internet traffic is in the mobile phones, and that was really driven by the standardization and interoperability. And with the standardization and interoperability, the scale you're able to create there is completely different level, and it strikes still to me today that how siloed our industry is. And if you compare, for example, an airline industry where the passenger information is passed between the different carriers, between the airports and the airlines, etc., we still have a lot of improvement opportunities as an industry to work closer together, to stop re-innovating things that we don't need to re-innovate every time, and exchange the information in a more way. So I think there is a clear step up opportunities for as an industry to be more efficient, to be able to exchange seamless data. And really, ultimately, what that results into, of course, is more efficient industry, safer industry, but also increasingly more importantly, more sustainable industry where we stop waste.
Yeah, very interesting comparison, because if you look at telecommunication and the hardware behind it, we see two standards, let's say, yes? It's the Apple standards and the other one.
True.
So,
but they still work together.
yes, but they have to, and I think this is something we should avoid in the container industry, that we do have 2-3 standards living side by side, and the main benefit of standardization in this field, especially if you look at the messages, that really the core information, it's better for most of us if we can change this basis, that this hardware, if we can fit together various pieces of equipment, of software as well. It's not only the equipment, it's also the software, the subsystems, and so on.
Absolutely. And the role and the importance, of course, of the software and the software interoperability is increasing in our industry all the time.
Yes. So and especially what you mentioned for looking into the future, for the new innovations, automation, robotics, what will not come up, it's already there, but will spread over the industry more and more. There it's more interesting to have this interoperability. Hard word for me, sorry.
For all of us, I think.
Yes. Yes. How do you see the developments like TIC 4.0 association, especially will help you to cope with this, yes, interoperability?
I think it's extremely important. Again, if I use the reference of the background in telecommunication, it was really the different associations that they're actually setting those up together and defining the standards and defining the interoperability. I mean, need bodies like TIC 4.0 as well to do that on our behalf, because it's such a wasted opportunity if we are not able to get the benefit of the scale. And still today we are deploying technology very specifically from one terminal to another terminal, and we do a lot of waste in a way by not being able to deploy it in similar way and repeat in that one. Again, especially in the software industry, that's such a huge importance. And if you're able to have interfaces and able to, that's also from everybody's point of view in the whole value chain, that makes the operation so much more efficient. And again, driving the sort of overall efficiency has a big impact also from the other aspects of the industry as well. And it's a challenging environment in a way that you could say that we certainly, in certain cases, people make money out of the inefficiency as well. It's an opportunity for certain industries. But overall, in the end of the day, if we lose money in the industry itself, that money is going to go somewhere else, and us as an industry players are not benefiting from that one.
If we look at the standards, you mentioned the communication itself, the messages, the description of yes, the information itself. But I think in our industry, it's also very interesting, and this was, I think, and is still one of the first things that TIC 4.0 was looking at, is the definition of this information. So what is a move at the key crane? Yes.
Yeah.
So because I already had it in many projects that when we expected to know what the move at the key crane is, and then we got information from our clients, it was quite different. Yes, is it a move? Is it a container? Is it a TU? What about twin lift and all these things? And I think the definition of these standard definitions is also a very important part of the TIC initiative.
Extremely important, and it's easy to talk about the importance of the data, but ultimately, what is the data? What format of the data? And even within the companies themselves, like ours, I mean, we can have a different data actually kind of applying to the same thing, or we can have the same data applying to different things as well. And how do you define that data and your kind of master data management, and then defining exactly those specific standards that enables us to exchange that data then between the different operators? It's not an easy thing to do, but if you, I mean, again, I strongly believe what we are trying to do here, and we just need to sort of push through and keep the resilience around this.
So I think we all understand what your company, why you joined TIC, as I think you have been the founding member. Already.
Absolutely, and we strongly believe in the capabilities we can, because again, if the industry can work more efficiently, more safely, and more sustainability, all the players in the industry will benefit.
You have the vice president here in this round as well. So, what are the next steps that you expect from TIC 4.0?
I think we need to stay on the course. I think we need to work through. There is no shortcuts on this one, and I just welcome everybody to work hard together to enable this one, because the opportunity is there for all of us to benefit from that.
Okay, Mika, thank you very much for your view on the industry and the current challenges. You mentioned the sustainability, but mainly the hard word interoperability. And I think we understand now why you are with TIC 4.0, and I understand you're prepared for the upcoming tasks, and you really see that the standards from the initiative is one of the top technologies to support you on this way. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you, Holger. Thank you for having me. It's a fantastic industry and a lot of great opportunities ahead of us. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, just to finish that off, I'd just like to thank everyone who's taken your time to share some very interesting insights to how the future of our business will develop. Particularly thanks to you, Norbert. You've brought this event together today around TIC 4.0, and we're happy to be the forum for this valuable work. Thanks to Holger and Mika, some excellent insights. How a major OEM like Cargotec does view digitalization and innovation moving forward. So I know your time is valuable. Thanks for making time for us. So from my side, look forward to meeting you all again at one of our upcoming TOC events in Americas, Asia, Africa, or Europe next year. Feel free to contact me at any time via the usual channels or the social media. So I look forward to bringing you some new interviews in the next weeks and months, and many thanks for everyone today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.